It was like, she ain't got no man. She knows she ain't got no man. She talk about this dude. Ain't nobody ever seen him. I never see her on the phone. Like, girls would literally be like, okay, sure you do. And I was like, I do.
Well, guess what, y'all? She got a man.
Yeah.
She got a man.
Yeah, that was kind of our first big obstacle. And then, unexpectedly, that was my first year at Wazoo. So I went to Wazoo in September, or I'm sorry, August. And by March, my mom passed away. Very unexpectedly. And that was a big, I mean, that was significant in so many ways. I mean, of course, I lost my mother, but she really was like our only support for a lot of the time. Like, he'd been away, maybe 2 years at that point. And it's so, like, people just fall off real fast. And my mom was the only consistent person that was ever really supportive of us. Mind you, I'm like trying to deal with losing my mom. I'm away at school. Everything in my family, at my home is falling apart, and my extended family is falling apart. Like, my life was just literally falling apart in front of me, and I couldn't like understand it fast enough to understand what was happening or like get control of it. And he was my only consistent thing that stayed the same, and I just held on to him so tight. Like, I just needed something to stay the same, and he was my stay the same. And honestly, I think you being able to be that for me in that part of my life helped me so much, because I had something to put my energy towards that wasn't changing all the time. Because every time I came home from school, that whole life was different. Everything was different. My family was always different. My dad was different. My grandparent, everybody was just so different that I didn't know how to process. And it took me a long time to be able to just like mourn my mom, because every time I'd go away to school, I didn't have to think about it. And then when I come home, life was so different that it was like, well, I can't think about that now, because we got to figure out what the hell is going on with the rest of these people. And he was the only thing I could go to, and it just felt like, okay, this is my comfort. Like, this is my saying.
And you know, the cool part about it is the whole time I was thinking I wasn't doing nothing for you. Because that's what you feel in there. And it rocked me, because it was like she said, it was so unexpected. And it just came out of the blue, and it was like, out of everything that's going on, we're really not ready for this. And like, it's crazy how much you realized how much she held together everything and everybody.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's what made her passing even harder, is because she was literally the glue.
I mean, not even just the glue. Like, she was almost the mask, because my family looked a certain way when she was alive. I thought my family was this. And when my mom died, every single person in my family was completely different. Like, nobody was recognizable. People I knew my entire life. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, my dad, like, nobody looked the same. It was like she died and just removed the mask that I saw these people as, completely left. And now I'm like, wait, what? My whole, like, everything, nothing was familiar. You're the only thing that I really just had that was like, okay, I understand him. He still makes sense. This still feels normal. And it was in prison, of all the things.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think we jumped into. Like, him going to prison, that means now your phone calls are 20 minutes. You drive hours to visit for a couple hours. Very rarely do you drive the distance and get the visit of the, like, make it that it's worth it.
Right.
You drive more than you get the time. But that was just kind of our thing. And when I was home on the weekends or whenever they'd have visit, my weekends consisted of going to visit him. And that became like my life, which also became a piece of me that I didn't share with a lot of people, because there's always such a stigma. I mean, when you have like family members that make comments, and when you have friends that now aren't friends with you anymore because they have this, whatever their perception of me being with someone incarcerated is, or when you meet new people and they make comments about like, oh, she must have daddy issues, or she must be desperate, or like just all these things that are just not true, but because they've seen it on TV, they make it true. So I just kind of really closed off and was like, it's just gonna be me and you doing this, because my feelings would get hurt all the time. People were always saying stuff.
Very insensitive.
Very insensitive. And they, you know, relationships that look like they are used to will be the ones that they give all the attention to, even if they were unhealthy relationships. But mine, nobody ever really took the time to figure out what it was about the guy that got me to stay and what helps us become who we are now. Like, until 2 years ago, when you were about to come home, now all of a sudden everybody's interested. But all that time,
I got a whole bunch of can't wait to meets.
Right.
And when I was about to come home, I never ever got that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in, 10 years in.
No.
None of that. But
no.
It is what it is.
It was very lonely. It was very isolated, or feeling isolated a lot of times, because I didn't have I had a few people that knew and I could talk to about it. But even that, like, for people to understand what the system is like and living in the system, there's so much you gotta explain, and by that time you're like, girl, I'm just gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
So you kind of end up being a little bit on your own island, and you really take, what's the word? Not comfort, but like solace?
Solace, yeah.
Within each other.
Yeah. And
you talk a lot. You communicate, you learn each other very well.
Why don't you tell them about that thing I told you to do when they get on your nerves? I told you to say.
I can't say that.
You can say it.
I can't.
We're all wrong here.
No, but
tell them.
It's not appropriate.
Tell them. Tell the people what they want to know.
They don't want to know. Let's just say
Let's just say what it is.
This is the thing. I remember I told you I was a really good girl and I was such a church girl. And now guess what? I cuss all the time. And you know why?
She cussed like a sailor.
Because he would make me cuss.
But I don't cuss that much.
Well, now you don't rip the Band-Aid and now it just feels too good.
So now that you cuss, tell the people what I told you to tell them. We across the board, when they make you mad, what I want you to tell yourself so that you can get over. It was 2 words.
Fuck them.
Fuck them, baby. You gotta learn how to say them.
And then when I started saying it, I ain't stopped. I ain't stopped since.
It ain't stopped.
Oh, sometimes it just releases something in you, them endorphins.
It does.
Ooh,
It does.
A good cuss word sometimes and get it.
All y'all got somebody that you need to be saying that to. Don't be fronting.
Yeah, and the more people I realized fell in that category, it was just like, I'm over here. Just bye. Good day.
You can't go your whole life and not say You can't.
I guess. Well, now I know, because I shall be saying it. Okay, here's a good one. What do you love most about each other, individually and collectively?
That's a good question.
You need some time to ponder?
Not really, but you can go first.
Okay, so what do I love about us? One thing I love is, like, we kind of have our own language as far as, like, we quote a lot of TV shows, specifically The Cosby Show. Like, we talk in Cosbyisms. Like, it is very much a Heathcliff and Claire, Theo, Rudy quotes. Like, we got the quotes down. That is our show.
And Friday movies.
Family Matters. Like, a lot of the 90s shows are our thing. Which right now we notice our friend group are too young.
Yeah,
they miss
people we hang out with don't know anything we're talking about.
Nothing.
So
and then they say things like, yeah, my parents used to watch that. Or my parents used to listen to that. You know who you were.
Yeah.
But anyway, we do that, and we also have a lot of inside jokes with each other. And when I tell you, like, this man can make me laugh stupid, like, I look a damn fool, because I'll be crying and slobbering and just can't even control myself.
You've done that in public.
In public. Yeah. In visiting rooms many times. Like, had a pool of drool on the table because I couldn't even stop laughing enough to swallow. But he makes me laugh so hard. And the way, if we get into a little giggle and we start doing it with each other and, like, getting our own little inside joke about something, like, the way we laugh about it, it's unmatched. The best laughter. The best.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about us collectively. Individually, what I love about you, for one, you are funny. But two, you know what I really dig about you?
No, I don't know.
Well, this is gonna sound a little arrogant.
Alright, let me go.
No. I really dig how much you dig me. Like,
yeah, I can dig that.
I mean, you really make me feel like I'm the only person in the room and that I am just so bomb. Like, hair flip. I mean, he makes me feel like I can just, I'm a 10 all day, every day.
Well, you are.
I mean, thank you, babe. But I know how I look, and be looking like a whole foot. And he'll come over to me and just be like, you're so beautiful. Did you see? I know what I saw. Walk out that bedroom. I know what I passed that mirror and was like, damn, girl. And then he gonna say some mess like that. But he does it so much that I don't even, like, I know it's very genuine. And that's what makes me just like melt. Because it's not like you're just saying it to say it. Like, you can tell that he means those words.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
I really do. What I love about you, see, the thing is, you can't always put it in like one thing. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to do. There's a effortless way in which you go about saying I love and support this person. So in that essence, it's almost like the same reason you love me is why I love you, because it's not that you love me, the way that you go about it, it's like damn near like you was just put on earth to do that, you know. And I can't express to you how this situation in riding with me, that's number one. Loving me while riding with me is number two. And the frustration from not being able to just live your own life out here when you were free, mm-hmm. and still saying I'm going to stay locked into that. All three of those things you did in a way that I just could, it sometimes seemed effortless. Most times it seemed effortless. Mm-hmm. And then to go on and say that 20 years it didn't look hard, sometimes it did look hard every now and then, but that was very few and far between. But every single day it was like, yeah, we got this. And it was like, I could live with anybody in this life if they know how to do that. Like, literally, I can literally be down with anybody if they know how to do that. I've ran into so many people in life who don't know how to function in love, in a healthy, loving way. Like, she's always been a healthy lover. And I just love that about you, you know? And then more than anything, it's like, I don't know if this is individually or collectively, you're my best friend.
I mean bestest.
You're my best friend in the whole world.
It's so true, babe.
So I don't know if that's individually, collectively, because it could be both. But
I picked that one too.
Like, I could let her here and state the obvious, like Candace look good. You know what I'm saying? It ain't your beauty, it's your booty.
Okay.
And all that type of stuff.
Right.
We definitely know that those were options for me, but those wasn't things that were sticking out for me. The thing that were sticking out was you had a personality and a character that was undeniable to me, that I wanted to be around and I didn't want to be without. And so when I got to know it, I wanted to get to know it. When I got to know it, I was passionate about knowing it, and then that passion turned into you being in love with my life. Because I'm still like that even to this day. Because as we've grown, we both changed, and it's almost like, what's this new change? What's going on?
I know, I get excited when you change.
Yeah, what is this?
Because you're still so
no, you can't
cute.
stand it a little bit.
I mean, most times. That's
Can't
just you. Sometimes you I can't stand. But what you do, I can.
Yeah, well.
Because when I tell you a nerve, he can work it. I mean, like, just stomp.
That's what I do. It's because I have the mentality is, what you gonna do?
That is what makes me want to fight him every day.
What are you gonna do?
And he does it and then gets in my face.
What are you gonna do? And that's not just you, it's anybody. It's like, I do what I do, and then I say, what are you gonna do? That is a half y'all out there.
Okay. You were saying something that I was gonna jump on, and now you done distracted me. Oh, that brings up something that people ask me all the time. It's like, how was he able to keep your attention? Why did you stay? And I've always told you, do you remember what I told you? Like,
About
what would keep me here or what would make me bounce.
If I look like everybody else.
Right. If I said if you start being like everyone else, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get everyone else because at least they be out here and take out my trash, buy me some dinner. Like I could do that with anybody. If you start looking like anybody, then you about to be that's a done deal. It's a wrap.
I mean that's true. I mean people used to ask me all the time because being locked up all that time, you go from one institution to the next, and guys that see me in this visit room, that room, they be like, y'all still together? And then they get to asking me, like, how the hell do you keep her all this time? And literally, y'all, I always say, I can't take credit for it. That's all her.
Well,
that's all her.
So that,
however,
okay.
However, based upon the conversation that she was just talking about, I have told them that if she could go to the mall and find me, or go to the club and find me, then that's what she'd probably be with. But I just try to make it to where if she wanted me, the different guy, she had to come up here and see him. Like she would have to come here to get him. But that's not to say that I did anything outlandish or special to keep her. I didn't. I mean, I think you did. You did things for me that people out here never did for me. Well, I appreciate that, but I guess I just don't want anybody to ever think that I kept you, like, because it wasn't like that. You rolled,
yeah,
and it was like, nah, I can't take credit for that.
Okay, I'll respect that. I'll take that.
I can't take credit for that.
I will say that this comes back to, remember when I told y'all to be very specific about your prayer? Because I was very much praying for him for years before we got together. Like I wanted him so bad. Lord, I will love him. I will be the best wife for him. I will do this. I will do that. But what I didn't say is, Lord, please make him free.
Yeah.
And the Lord gave me what I asked him for. And that was my fault because I didn't specify not in prison, Lord.
So the moral of the story is,
be specific in your prayer, because he will mess around and give you what you ask for or don't ask for.
Yeah.
And now I've learned that, so now we have a good understanding, because I be so detailed. Because I mean, he was perfect for me. Like we just connect on such a deep level, but as we're growing, we would grow together. Even there was a bump where we didn't know if we was going to be able to grow together, but we were such good friends that we were maintaining that friendship, and the friendship brought the love back, you know? And he was my guy. Like he's always just been my number one person I could go to for everything. Even before he got locked up, he was my guy that if I needed help, I would call him. He was always my go-to person. And I just love that he is so protective of me and wants to take care of me so much, but he's always just been my person. Like I didn't, once we finally said yes, we're together, it was like, okay, that's what we're doing. We're together now. Mm-hmm. So if he's struggling, I'm struggling until I can help figure out a way for us not to struggle no more. And vice versa, he was doing the same thing. So we just always had each other's back.
Yeah. And I never thought that we just had and this is not to disparage anybody's relationship who's incarcerated, but I just never thought we had the run-of-the-mill relationship in that situation. Like there was passion, there was genuine, like, I want to find out more about you, I can't wait to be with you type, all the time. And it's like we just never, there was a fire there that just couldn't be extinguished, even though we wasn't allowed to spend that much time together, or we wasn't allowed to touch each other as much as we wanted to when we were in the visiting room. There were just certain things that the situation in DOC and the falseness of my arrest couldn't extinguish.
Yeah.
And I think that got us through a lot too, because we were just different.
And we have a genuine interest in each other. Yeah. Like I remember specific times where like things in my life would kind of change, and I would kind of get invested in like a new path because that's where life took me. And he would kind of get invested with that too. And even though he couldn't really offer a whole lot as far as like, oh, try this to do that, like he would try, and it would be so cute because he would be on the TV trying to research it, or like asking people to look stuff up for him. Or the library.
Yeah.
And he'd come back and be like, so, babe, I heard about da-da-da, and he would say something, and a lot of times the information was like, oh,
5 years old.
It was, but the fact that he tried to keep up with me.
Yeah. And then the interweb came out. And that is the worst thing ever because when I was in
Put
there,
your finger down.
the interweb was getting on my nerves because there was no way for me to learn it.
Right.
So it was almost like it came out and it just went cyber speed ahead of me, and I probably will never catch it, but
well,
I'll try.
You heard it here. He said he'll try. This is a place where we have a little struggle with.
Trying a lot of things, baby, but you know what I learned? God ain't through with me yet.
No, he's not. He's just getting started, if you ask me. If you had to do all of this over to end up where we are right now, would you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Babe, I don't know.
Here's the key word to end up where we are now.
Right.
What you said. If anything was different, probably not. But here's the thing. Here's where I can say with some regrets lie. Is I regret